Talking with Coach Logan here with Graham Kapowson. And Coach, man, I think this might be the first overtime game I've called in about 3 years. I had to think about what the rules were when you went to overtime, but you guys got off to a fast start, quick 14-0. Talking to Davion, you guys were not convinced at all that this was going to be a walk in the park, and they knew that Sumner was going to come back at you, and they certainly did.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be Black Flag week for Sumner. You know, at all costs they got to get this, and we knew it was going to be tough. This is always a tough place to play. We knew that coming down here last year in the quarterfinals. It's fun. You know, there doesn't have to be a lot of talk in the locker room or pre-week to get motivated to come down to the Valley to play some football. But, yeah, you know what? We knew we were going to get their best shot. Getting up 14-0, and then we knew that they were going to try and lean on us and run the football a little bit. We got a little bit behind the sticks. They made a couple plays, and we had a couple touchdowns taken off the board. But, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of what we've preached for 3 weeks now is how do we attack these defenses that we don't prepare for and that are different, and three safeties over the top and different things where it really kind of limits what we're trying to do throwing the football, and so that's what we've really harped on with our kids.
Pito ran his heart out tonight. You got some great action from Rivers off the bench as well. Did that, but Davion was our MVP tonight, and he just saw the field. Other than dropping the ball a couple times early, and then he took care of that. He took care of that right away, and he was in traffic a lot, and he held on to it, and he was clearly he was well aware of that, but he feels those openings, it seems like, so naturally. You're a former quarterback. What do you see in just his ability to see what's happening in front of him?
I'll tell you what, I don't see the field like he did running the football. I was a little heavier footed, but it's really about this time last year we took a deep dive as an offensive staff and said, what makes us the best football team possible? And it was running our quarterback, because that's what he has the ability to do. We did that with Josh Wood. We weren't scared to do it, and we kind of made that switch week 5, week 6 last year. And going into this week, we knew if we didn't want to see three safeties in the box, we're going to have to make some changes and adjustments. And so just the natural ability to make guys miss in a phone booth between him, Jabez, and Malachi, and watching Chris catch the ball down the field and Noah blocking and doing the same thing, it really allows us to be very versatile and very multiple. If teams want to try and really take the top off, or the limit for taking the top off our defense. So all hats off to Davion. I think it's the first real action of him running the football, and took about a quarter for him to kind of I don't think really find his footing, but to realize, hey, we're back into this is almost playoff football right down here.
Well, being an old offensive lineman, both offensive lines I thought played pretty well tonight, gave both quarterbacks time to throw the ball, but at the same time it looked like both defenses were somewhat similar. You're rushing, but both sides were really making sure they weren't going to let anyone get deep on them either.
Yeah. And our O-line is battled. We're very inexperienced, and we knew that. And we talked to our kids about most football teams get better throughout the year. Very rarely do teams not get better throughout the year. We talked to our guys about we got to get better than everybody else every single week. So if they get 5% better, we got to get 6. And we're young up front right now. We get our freshman left tackle back next week, and so we're looking, we got 2 freshmen that are playing at tackle, and we got a sophomore that's rotating in, and a couple juniors, and so we're real green. But we knew that, and they're very physical, they're competitors, and they want to win, and they're really, really tough. We challenged them for about the last 2 weeks, and they've responded really well.
How about, Chris Norris, first of all, Jabez on that little flip pass, that was a staple tonight, and again, that's what the defense was giving you, and you were getting some nice, really big chunk yardage off of that. But down the stretch there, we had just mentioned that Norris had been very quiet. He caught the first pass of the game and had been quiet, and made that huge catch down the stretch. How big was that?
That was incredible. You kind of watch it, and I'm watching the pass pro because it's 4th and 7. We got to have it going down to try and take the lead. And Davion, it looks like he gets hit in the back a little bit, so the ball goes high. And after a ball that was just high off of Chris's fingertips, for him to get hit in the back, to bring that into him, and kind of, it's almost like he brought it into himself, and falling down, he kind of cradled it back into his body. I told Chris that was the catch that won the game for us, because without that catch, we don't go down and take the lead. They don't have to go down and kick that field goal. We don't get to overtime. And I think a lot of the time, guys like Chris and Noah and Case and Micah and some of those guys on offense get overlooked, and they're really, really good. They'd start at so many schools in the state right now, and that's the luxury of having a lot of guys, is that they're going to see single coverage, and right now we're not seeing a lot of single coverage because of the deep safeties. But man, I told Chris I thought that was the absolute catch of the game. That was what won it for us.
Last thing, I got hats off to the kickers. They did their jobs tonight, didn't they? And your guy Skull is getting a little overlooked because of a 45-yard kick to tie it at the end, which is Austin Ferns. I said if I'm Graham Kapowson, I'm not rushing anyone because I don't want to risk a penalty. And if he hits it, then congratulations.
Yeah.
You guys rushed him and he still hit the dang thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a
I'll tell you what,
huge
we were
kick.
hoping that, I didn't really know why or what the rule is. I thought they were holding us up for a substitution change, and so then the clock ran out. We knew they didn't have any timeouts. I was like, clock, tick, tick, tick. I thought they were going to push it back to 50. But yeah, Aiden's, he played a lot of football growing up in our youth program, and then he's been a big-time soccer kid. His brother's a freshman playing on our C team, and so, he's done really well.
Hey, that 29-yard kick was a big kick.
It was. It was really clutch. We don't have it, we don't go to overtime. We're down 3, and so he's doing really, really well. He's a quick learner. He's very, very talented, and so he's put in a lot of work in a very short amount of time to be a pretty good kicker.
Well, Coach, you're about to hit your gauntlet of the schedule, but you had to get through this one. You did. Congratulations. We can't wait to see you again next week.
Yeah, thank you.